Hey guys, Marley and I came up into the mountains today. We're having some pretty bad weather. We've got a good amount of rain coming down. This is a new area that we haven't yet camped. So I've just pulled in here. I set up a tarp to try and keep some of the camera equipment dry. I built a fire pit here. Right now we're just gonna kind of look around, see if I can find any dry wood, and we'll try and get a fire started. I'm just happy we were able to get out of the house and bring you guys along with us. I really have no idea what's in store for the rest of the day or tomorrow, but I'm really hoping that the rain will kind of die down. As you can see, I've just set up a tarp. This is a 5x8. Pretty small, but it works pretty well for this type of setup, and I just tied it off on the 4 points, and then I ran a center guide to one of the branches that's above us just to give it kind of a little bit of a teepee, so the water is going to shed off of it pretty easily. But this definitely works in a pinch when you really need to get out of the rain. See, I got a fire started and it really wasn't easy to find dry wood. What I was able to do is look underneath some of these larger trees, and at the base is usually where you can find wood that has stayed dry. And so I kind of found some of that to get it started. And I found some wet pieces that I put towards the bottom. What that's going to do is kind of dry them out. At least I got a fire started. Even if I do find some wood that's fairly wet, it's still going to most likely burn. I also use branches, and a good rule of thumb is if it snaps off, it's dry enough. If it's kind of bendy, it's wet. So I go around and I find the stuff that snaps off easy, and I know it's most likely dry. I gotta say, this tarp has worked out really well. It's definitely something you could keep in your pack. It takes up no space, no weight. Goes up really quickly. If you were hiking and you got stuck in a storm and you just wanted to get out of the rain, it's perfect for that. And the other thing that's nice is you can not only use it as a shelter, but you can build a fire. That heat is going to get reflected back in here, and it's going to hold in the heat. I've actually taken my jacket off right now because it's so warm in here. Perfect temperature. I can see the rain has started to die off out here, so this was the perfect setup for us. I could see how you definitely could sleep underneath one of these if you really had to. When I was out hiking around, I came across this old piece of sheet metal that I guess somebody was using as a target. I grabbed it, I put it behind here, and it looks like crap, but you know what? It's going to reflect some of that heat back here. I may actually move the tent kind of behind where the camera is, just so I can take advantage of some of that heat reflected, and two, I can kind of relax a little more with having this tarp as an awning. You don't like the rain, huh, Marley? You can't go out and find the bunnies, huh? It's starting to snow. I went ahead and made the call and moved the fire over in here. I dug a new pit, and that is underneath the tarp, so it's not going to get totally wet. I put the coals in there. I'm going to try and spruce it up a little with what wood I do have, and that way I can at least try to stay dry underneath this tarp here. You guys can see I went ahead and moved this metal sheet and stuck it in here at an angle. You know what, it's better than nothing. It at least reflects a little bit of the heat back. At least I got some decent coals in here throwing off some heat, so I can at least keep warm. It is getting cold. If it is snowing, I know it's definitely pretty cold out here. Cheers, you guys. Definitely deserve some coffee after putting up with this today. It is absolutely pouring right now. Just dumping. I mean, I'll bet you in the past hour we've gotten probably 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. Just dumping. And I'm planning on probably not having a fire tonight because there's not going to be any way for me to get out and get some wood unless this dies down within the next hour, because it's going to be getting dark pretty soon. So if that's the case, we'll probably just hunker down inside the tent and ride out the storm. The last time I camped in rain like this, I was with Lindsay and a couple of our real close friends, and we had camped way up in the mountains. We were tent camping and it was pouring rain. The only tarp that I had a bunch of holes in it, and we set this thing up. Kid you not, we were getting more wet underneath the tarp than we would have been just standing in the rain. It was like a waterfall coming through those holes. I gotta say, it was probably one of the best camping trips we had. It was a lot of fun being out there with our friends. We were celebrating my good friend Steve-O's birthday. This was the first time that he had camped, I think, in a long time. He handled it like a champ. I was kind of expecting everybody to say, hey, let's go home, but I was surprised. Everybody handled it really well. We had a lot of fun. We ended up cooking some stuff that night. You know, it just goes to tell you, you know, you can come out in bad weather like this and still have a good time. I'm really lucky to be able to come out and do this and bring you guys along. I hope you guys enjoy it. It finally stopped raining. I think it was a good call to move the fire pit over in this corner so it's protected just in the event that it does rain. I was really glad I found that sheet of metal because that's going to really help bring some of that heat back into the tent. I'm hoping it's going to stay calm. I mean, it's obviously very foggy. Everything is just soaking wet. I was able to find 2 small logs that I think were dry enough. That's going to give a good amount of heat back to the tent. We should be able to stay pretty comfortable tonight. Right now it's about 8:30. We're getting snow. We're almost out of fire here, but there's a good amount of coals in there giving off some heat. To be honest, I don't think it's really going to do much for us tonight in the tent. This may have been a night we probably should have just stayed in the Jeep. We're going to push through it, call it a night. We'll see you guys in the morning. Morning, you guys. It's about 8:15. It was really cold last night. It rained and snowed till probably about 6 o'clock this morning. We kind of just bundled up. I tried to get up and fluff up this fire, but there really just isn't much left in here to burn. But I am getting a little bit of heat off it, thankfully. I really like this camping spot, so I think we're going to come back here when it warms up. I might bring Terry back here with me. But we had fun. It's a beautiful place to hike around. Right now, I'm just making myself some lunch. I got some top ramen I'm going to make, and then I'm going to start packing up the camp. This place is pretty close for me. It really only takes me about 45 minutes to get here, so I'm not in a real hurry to get back. I really appreciate you guys coming along with us. I had a good time. I hope you guys did, and we'll probably see you guys next week. Talk to you then.